Hi, Ailish.
Hi, Jenny. Nice to see you.
I know, nice to see you too. So, Ailish is a really good friend of mine. I met Ailish in New York, flip, a long time ago. It was about 20 years ago, which is kind of scary. And she was a great influence for me with the Kundalini yoga, actually, introduced me to Kundalini yoga. We did our teacher training together. I did my first fasting with Ailish as well. She coerced me into not eating for 11 days. And we did a lot of good, fun, healthy things together as well, running around New York. And you may also have heard me talking about Ailish as well, because I'm very unfortunately, Ailish had cancer, and you may have heard me, or you may have even sponsored me to do the 20-mile paddle this time last year, last October, for Ailish's cancer treatment. And as you can see, she looks the picture of health. And this is a year later, over a year later. So yeah, so I brought Ailish on because I really wanted just to delve in there and talk to her a little bit more about health and looking after her health, because you can see how she's just turned around, because she had a very severe cancer, and she's like a thriving success here, glowing. And also, I just wanted to talk to her a little bit about, for benefiting a lot of my yoga students, my online students, for instance. I think the main challenge that they face doing their yoga every day is just committing to doing their yoga every day. I think often, we do 5-day challenges. They love the challenge. They come away from that and they stick to it for a while. And then something happens, like your workload increases, and something happens in the family, and then you end up missing days or whatever. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to Ailish about. So anyway, I'll say hello to Ailish. And what do you think about all of those? And yes, and well done on your health, looks amazing.
Thanks, Jenny, and thanks for having me on. So I'm delighted to be here in person and feeling good and to have this conversation. And I want to say thank you to you again, and to anyone and anyone listening to this, and anyone who's even energetically contributed to the idea of good health and well-being for me. I really appreciate it. And it has a powerful impact, so thanks. So that was all wonderful. Yeah, we've had a wonderful, glorious past. I would say you and I, we've had a lot of experiences and adventures, and that continues, right? Mm-hmm. We're still having these wonderful, deep, meaningful, important adventures and conversations. So I'm delighted to be here. Yeah, with regards to my journey, it's been interesting. We've gone through so much over time, and what's really, really been very, very interesting is how on my road, like I was very much all work priority, even though was doing a lot of stuff for my health and maintaining my health at the same time. I had a tendency of prioritizing work and my commitment to action and to work more almost than anything else in my life. So how I did that was, instead of maybe compartmentalizing stuff, I just let work expand and obviously being a mother also as well, my time there expand, and then the time for me and the time to kind of nourish and restore myself became less and less and less. So I was allowing myself to I would never have said I was stressed. I would have said I was very, very busy, but allow myself to become burnt out because I didn't make the hard action of saying no and making time. It's not necessarily easy to make time, but it is important. Doesn't mean to say it's not important. So it was easier, almost at the time, it seemed easier to say yes and keep working because I could, right? Because I had tons of energy, versus making the harder decision, say, no, this is important to me. I'm going to put my attention here because this is important, and kind of put the brakes on a lot of other stuff to create space to do the things that I needed for me. So yeah, so that's kind of it's one of these things when you do go through a health crisis. Quite often it's to just change your attention. It says, oh, you don't think you have time to look after yourself? Mm-hmm. Let's just arrange it so that you
injure yourself,
time, attention on
fall or something like that happens, doesn't it?
It does, because you, at some level, you're like, that you're going at a high capacity, and it's, mile a minute, and you don't have the capacity, maybe it's not sustainable for whatever reason. And then, the universe tries to help out. Sometimes it seems like it's a bad thing, but often it's a gift. Often if it's a gateway to, hey, okay, that's not working over there. Let's give us something else. So it doesn't have to be like that. But you know what they say, hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. So we often have to make these harder choices, prioritizing ourselves being one of them, because the universe prioritizes whatever we prioritize. So if we prioritize ourselves, then the universe goes, oh, you think you're important? Okay, so do I. Let's give you support. Let's give you these things, so that's.
I think that's wonderful, because I think it's not a way that we normally think, do we? We don't really think that if we allow more time for X, whatever it is, like your yoga, your meditation, then the universe will give you more time to do that. Once you get started, I certainly find, whenever, going from, like, say, doing 10 minutes every day of meditation to then building up to maybe like an hour of meditation. And you think, how could I ever find an hour in my day to do that? And then once you start doing it, it materializes, isn't it? It's just creating.
Yeah, it does. Because the universe is like, it's a giant mirror, right? We've heard that before, right? It's a big, big mirror. So how that works is, like, whatever you decide to hone your attention in on, for the most part, it will give you more of. So it doesn't really matter what it is. And when you start creating that space and that time, somehow all the other components, it's kind of like a kaleidoscope. It shifts automatically. Not to say that things won't come up, and not to say that you won't have challenges, and not to say that, the whole world is going to go on pause just because you're pausing. But what you're doing is you're giving yourself the nourishment, the support internally. And as a result, then you've got more of you available to take care of everything else outside of you. So you really are kind of shoring up your resources,
Very good. And I've meant to mention at the start as well that Ailish is a qualified hypnotherapist and RTT practitioner. Should have said that at the start. And so a lot of the work that you would do as well. I mean, and I get coaching. I have to say, I get coaching from Ailish too. I find it really helpful and insightful. And sometimes we do have blocks that come up for ourselves, but you do notice this pattern of it coming up over and over and over again. And this is the sort of thing I've had coaching with Ailish. And there's lots that can be done around that, isn't there? I mean, there's just one block after another sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something that I've had to. So we've always been really, really curious about how things work and why they work, and both being very, very active in wanting to go after the experience and get it. And we talk about muscling our way through it, right? So what I've learned and what I've seen, and it's not just me, this is like one of these ideas, is that whenever we're having this repeated experience of something, right? So we attract the same boyfriend, we have the same experience with money. Money is always, we keep getting our car dinged up. It doesn't matter. Any of these things, obviously the repeat experiences of good things are wonderful, and that we all may have more of them, but the repeat of things that just kind of show up, like those unlucky things are often, say again?
Like unlucky things.
Yeah, and things that we would consider unlucky, right? Mm-hmm. We would say, okay, that's a bad thing, right? Mm-hmm. Those things, it is for us at some point, there's some part of us that really, really wants to move through it so we don't get these experiences because we're bad people or maybe we've made choices. I don't think there's really a good and bad. We've made choices that give us these same consequences again and again, whatever those choices are. So we go back on our subconscious mind. And one of the things that works with the RTT is rapid transformation technique. Marissa Peer is the founder of that technique. And I came across it in my, quest for better health when I was not feeling good, because I figured, look, I'm addressing a lot of things on the conscious level. On the subconscious level, there's probably some other things in here because I'm having this experience. In spite of living a fairly healthy life, I wanted to make sure that that I was addressing every component, physical, mental, emotional, conscious, subconscious. I was making sure I was getting at everything, and I decided to train in it. And then in training in it, I wanted to understand it more. And part of the process is using hypnotherapy. So when we are having these repeat experiences, often we have a program or pattern that's replaying in our subconscious mind, a belief system, a thought, an experience that we believe is real and we're having it repeatedly. And it's locked someplace, sometimes in our subconscious mind. Sometimes it's a conscious experience, sometimes it's subconscious patterning. We're only aware of, I believe it's less than 5% of our thoughts every day. We are hit with thousands and thousands of thoughts every day, but we're only aware of, I think it's either 5% or 1% of those thoughts. Stuff is playing out for us all the time. So when we're seeing, if we have the gift of seeing a repeat pattern, we know that there's some underlying program that's running this pattern in our life. And if we can unplug that program from our lives, we can have a new experience. Okay. And we can create something new in a different experience. So a lot of the work with the hypnotherapy or RTT is going in and reprogramming the subconscious, or really unplugging any emotional charge that we have around a previous experience. So we're not locked into that repeat experience of it, and we can move on, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Mm-hmm.
So how that would work out, let's say somebody is doing signs up for work for doing the yoga, right? Okay, let's say they sign up for doing the yoga. Okay, and you've done the 5-day programs you've already done a few of them, and you now have the experience of, look, I've done the 5-day challenge before, I know I can do it, right? So you've no resistance to that idea. So you go, okay, I'll show up, I'll do that 5-day challenge. And now when it comes to doing a 28-day or a 40-day challenge, you haven't the experience of it, right? So you question yourself, you question your ability to show up and do it. And in the questioning of it, maybe you don't make the commitment to really look at why you're doing it. You're doing it to change your life. You're doing it to establish a new experience. You're doing it to break a habit of not prioritizing yourself. So because of all of that doubt, you're going to get little curveballs that come at you that will just kind of draw attention to the fact that you're not really, really sure in your commitment that you want to move forward with it. So you're allowing for these things to show up to prove to you that, oh yeah, no, it was right, I couldn't do this, right? Instead, when we really commit to ourselves, but know why we're doing it, we're not doing it just for the yoga. I mean, the yoga is a tool. We're doing it because we're saying, we're going to stop the bus. I want to get off. I want to prioritize myself for this period of time. The results I want from it, and it's very important to have, I want to feel better. I want to be emotionally more present for my kids. I want to be emotionally more present for my partner. Whatever, we have these things going into it. So the yoga becomes a tool. And really what we're saying every day, and we're enforcing every day for ourselves, is this is a priority for me. I want this good feeling. I'm committing to myself, not committing to Jenny, you're committing to you, because this good feeling is very important for me. And then even that commitment alone is kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's a relief for your body, and your whole system goes, oh, that's important. I didn't know that was important to you, because all you've ever been doing is working. I thought that was the only thing. He's like, oh, you're important too. Okay, we can move things around. But if you're going into it where you gotta, I often get into stuff like this, like you got one foot on the boat and the other on the pier. It's a dangerous, it's precarious, it's not really sustainable. But when we make the why is not, the yoga's the what. The why is us. We want to feel better, right? Nobody does anything if they don't want to feel better. And what you're saying, what you're giving to people is that if you do this thing, you will get these results. And once you look at it at a little bit beyond the, oh, I have to do my yoga today, it's not that. Before you even get to that, you go, no, I've made a decision. I want to feel better. I know that if I do yoga, whatever it is, doesn't matter, meditation, I will feel better. I'm going to commit to myself to do this. And you will get each time you do it, you're going to get the experience. Oh yeah, I did this and it worked for me. And then you go on and on and on. So I don't know if that's addressed any of that, but that's kind of how these things all come together.
Yeah, no, perfect. That's about right. Because I think that's why I do my yoga every day. I get up, because it's just my little bit of time for myself every day. And I know that, I think it's probably at the start, it's to sort of stay in shape, isn't it, physically? And then I think certainly for my work and everything, when I do my yoga, it helps me not stiffen up and get tight, just makes life a little bit easier, more enjoyable, and makes you, I think when you clear your mind, able then to take on everybody else's stuff as well, you know, throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever notice, like, when you sit down in the morning to stretch or something, it might be sore, right? You're like, oh, I didn't know I was stiff or whatever. Some part of you knows that you're sore. So if you can move all of these things out of your system and out of your body as soon as possible, you're not going to be carrying that tension with you. You're not going to be carrying that stiffness. You're going to, all of a sudden, you're going to be more flexible. Probably there's hormonal changes in the body. The endocrine system probably starts working. You get the endorphins are going. There's a lot of things, so that the person who gets up is a different person than the person who sits down. And you probably want to be hanging out with the person who gets up after yoga as an individual more than the person who was going to sit down, right? Because when we get up from the mat, we're a slightly different person. I think it's Joe Dispenza that says, if you can overcome yourself each day, you'll have met the biggest challenge of the day. Because quite often, we're the people that we are with all day. So if we can get us to a better feeling place, and you go, well, at least I've done my fill in the blank, at least I've done my yoga, at least I've done it, in addition to the health benefits. And then you start to feel better, you start to look better, and everything just becomes a little bit more amplified in a very good way.
Yeah, improves your digestion.
I've never heard anyone say, oh, I shouldn't have done that 40-day yoga challenge. I have not ever met that person. I don't know that they're out there. I just have never met them. Have you?
No, exactly. I know. Well, that's it. I think sometimes, it was certainly when my experience was hanging out with you in New York as well. It's like when you're doing your yoga every day and your meditation, whatever, then you start making the healthier choices. You might tend to veer towards more like vegetarian food or whatever, or your smoothies, your detox drinks and stuff. It all just sort of goes together hand in hand, rather than if you get up in the morning and you hit the snooze button, and then you might get up in the morning, have your coffee and maybe a donut. All those bad choices.
Right. And what all those do, I mean, they do a number of different things. And, it's like, not to say that can never happen. If that's, there's enjoyment, there's no right or wrong in it. There is some enjoyment in that sometimes, but that's not a really good plan of, I don't want to say plan of attack on your life, because that's not right, but it's not supportive for most people to do that. We all know that. So one of the things that happens too, as well, is as you start to feel better. So when you commit to yourself, you actually go like, oh, okay, I'm important, prioritize. But when you get to this better feeling place, other things, because you feel better, other things start to work out better, because you're approaching everything from a more positive perspective. And that becomes a very powerful amplifier then for other things. So if you want to achieve your goals, when you're feeling better as a result of doing the yoga and meditation in the morning and getting your endorphins, and you're more likely actually to achieve your goals, because energetically you've got yourself feeling better. And then once you apply the thought or whatever to move your life forward, you're light years ahead.
Yeah, it's that sort of good vibrations. You finish and you feel you're in a good vibe, you feel good. You might have even been meditating and sending out all these like lovely positive thoughts and to yourself or to people that you know or care about. And then, I think you're just on a different vibration, aren't you? And just makes, with the Kundalini especially, we're doing a lot of stuff to strengthen your core, to try and draw things towards you that you want in your life. And I think you're just, making that all flow.
And it's better alignment, right? So alignment is not just about, in your body. It's like aligning with everything that you want. Or you don't want to align so much what you don't want. You really want to align. So it's really, once you're getting your body very grounded and centered and nurtured, and you're doing these things to support it, you're automatically becoming more attractive to the things that you want. So things just start to move easier. There's it's not the 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes, hour, whatever. But what that is like this gift that can just impact the other 23 hours of your day. You sleep better, improves your relationship. So it seems like I have to do this one thing, and maybe it takes your time away, but what it does is actually complements the entire rest of your day. And that's huge. People have to have, when you experience it, then it's true. That's why you do your practice every day, because you've had the experience of it. So somebody else may not yet have that experience, but they'll get it once they do it, and they're like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Absolutely. I think it's all that sort of thing that, you're working on your intuition, you're developing your intuitive mind, you're changing your diet so that you're becoming more in tune with everything that's around you, and helping you to start to make the right decisions and things that are in line with yourself and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't beat yourself up. So you just do your best, and just, show up for yourself. And it's like a lot of good can happen then. I mean, who else are you going to show up for? It's like.
Exactly. Well, then the other thing is, for my group as well, I was telling them, that we do our yoga practice in the morning, well, any time of the day, really, a bit of yoga, body rolling, meditation, but also, it's important to work a little bit on your positive, and your mental well-being, like say, using affirmations. I do that with my group, or we do gratitude as well. But I also like to listen to like your recordings. I find that was a really good way of making for positive well-being. Like I will listen to that in the car, in between, I'm driving, I'll be sitting there like thinking, I should be thinking about something more positive than whatever I'm thinking of at the moment. So I'll put my recording on of you. So Ailish does these lovely hypnosis recordings after she's done a sort of consultation with you. And it's just getting, again, the daily habit of watching those every day as well. Mm-hmm. So, so if any of my people wanted to try some hypnosis, maybe get a bit of coaching with you, how would they get?
Yeah, so they can reach me at Ailish at ailish.com. That's AILISH at Ailish, AILISH.com. I also have a 40-day program starting in at the beginning of the year. I figure I won't necessarily start January 1st, but it'll be like, say, January 2nd, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, depending on the day that it falls. And it's a 40-day program where we're really working on where it's kind of in my full understanding, as I'll put it right now, is the more and more we get into alignment with what we want, because we all have things that we aspire to, that we want. And it's all about applying our mind and our alignment and getting those in sync to like a good high vibration, so that we really get into alignment quickly with what we want, and it kind of brings things towards us. So there's a couple of different options. If you're interested in that program, I'll be releasing information about it. Go to ailish.com/wait list, and you'll be on the wait list. And once I release it in the next 2-3 weeks, I'll send it out. But that's where you find me. And always lovely.
You also do the one-on-one as well, because that's
I do one-on-one work with people, absolutely. So we do one-on-one work. Some of the beauty of the one-on-one work is if there's something known, even known pattern, or there's a thought or process that haunts you, essentially, so to speak, and you really want to move beyond it and you want to move away from it, or there are some repetitive destructive patterns, could be alcoholism, could be drug use, it could be trauma from the past, it could be any one of those things. One of the beauties of the RTT process is that quite rapidly and quite quickly we can investigate and change the meaning, unplug the emotions around it, implant some new ideas for support for the subconscious mind, and it really frees people and allows people to move from their past. And that's a work that's dear to my heart, and it's a wonderful work and exploration. So they can email me if they want to look at that more as well.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that too as well. It is amazing, like we talk about that in yoga as well, when we're doing our, say, Sat Kriya, and we're trying to get rid of limiting beliefs, but it's amazing what you buried away in there, and you're still thinking like that 3-year-old child about that situation, and it's just it's just getting clarity around that as well. Talking to you and getting coached is just a really good way of like, oh, I don't need to be thinking that, like, that's not me anymore. I've moved on from that.
And I mean, the body is, probably for you, I'm sure you have had many conversations with your students about it, stores emotions, right? It stores things. And I remember when I was being yoga class in New York, I would like go and do my cat stretch at the end, and it was like I'm squeezing out the tears. Like sometimes you just go into these movements and it releases a lot of emotions, which is wonderful. So yoga can, for people, bring up a lot of emotions, but that's not something to be afraid of, because whatever you're letting go of, you're letting it go from your body. And there's lots of different ways we can do that. So the practice of Kundalini yoga, particularly with all of the movements in it, it really kind of, it's like spring cleaning for the body in many, many ways, and for the mind. It's
clearing,
wonderful.
isn't it? Just clears.
Yeah.
Gets rid of a lot of stuff that we don't need.
And you don't even have to know what it was. It just goes.
Yeah. I know, it's amazing. Well, I have to say, I've really enjoyed all my journeys with Ailish, and there's There's lots more to come, and there's so much out there, isn't there? Learning about your health and your well-being. But these are certainly different areas that we've covered that we've really enjoyed doing. So anyway, thank you so much for coming on and chatting. We will definitely get you on again to do some more, because you're like a fountain of knowledge, is how I describe it.
Thanks, Ginny. And likewise. And you know what it is? It's like when we find things that work, that's why we share them. That's why you're sharing your work and what you do, and why I'm doing mine. Is kind of like, it's like, oh my gosh, I found something that can be super helpful. So
yeah, that's it. Once you know something's helped you, you want to try and share it with your everybody else. But sometimes I find it sometimes it's hard to explain some of the stuff as well, especially talking about your subconscious mind and these sort of emotions and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure, Jenny. Thanks for having me.
Yes, no problem. Anyway, we'll hope to speak to you soon. Take care. All the very best.
God bless.
Thank you. You too. Bye.